having your basic needs met. Um, we have to know how to provide those needs for ourselves or through interconnected, interdependent community. So, as a child, I was taken away from my mother in Iowa because she grew marijuana. I was beat, raped, and drugged on 20 plus different pharmaceutical drugs. Uh, I've been experiencing homelessness now for about 8 years. I've been working, living homeless. I experienced abuse and harassment from people online, cyberbullying, stuff like that. Um, People trying to tell me that I'm being censored online. Just, uh, uh, and it's been really rough too the last couple of summers. It's been so hot in my van that I would look back at some of the videos that I did, and then it'd rekindle the memories that I had. And because I was going through so much PTSD from speaking out against what happened to me as a child, and from some of the people that were appearing in my life, um, I was starting to go crazy. Um, but then I was also starving. I was literally starving. I was only eating 500 calories. After that, it was hot, and I literally was having memory issues. I fell apart. I went from being able to be one of the strongest athletes to barely being able to walk. I had a work injury, and I was super depressed. Looking back at my life, at all the different work that I had done, all the relationships that I'd had with people, I was just really upset with life, seeing all the war on the internet, um, just all the crazy fucking shit that's been happening. And I lied to myself. I told myself that that stuff wasn't happening. Because I was constantly in a state of fear. I was constantly in a state of higher cortisol. I was constantly in a state of paranoia after those things had happened to me. I was constantly not feeling safe, not trusting technology. I literally had Chase Bank shut off my bank account. They stole $1,000 from me. And I was just like, well, why is this happening to me? But, you know, life is brutal. It can be. You know, nothing is guaranteed for anybody. Everything comes back. Everything is connected. The way we treat others is eventually how they treat us. A lot of people that treat people like shit are because they were treated like shit their whole lives. You got to be strong in this world if you want to rise above the norms. You got to be strong in this life if you want to rise above the status quo. When you look at nature, it's brutal. Humanity has actually made a world, when I look at it, even though I don't like a lot of things about humanity, but humanity has actually made a world that is more safe. But in many ways, it's made a world that is more enslaved. We've become radically addicted to materialism. We're not truly healthy mentally, physically, spiritually. We're constantly chasing finances because we've built our lifestyles in such a way where we need so much. And you got people like Joe Rogan and all these other people showing that it's all based upon exploitation. And in many ways, we exploit ourselves. When we truly figure out that time and health is the absolute need, we spend time slaving away at jobs that don't truly build and bring us fulfillment. We buy food and groceries from stores that are genetically modified, that aren't truly healthy and connected to Earth. A lot of people have to take drugs that are synthetically created in a lab. But the beautiful thing about the world and the internet is we can see now that a lot of people are starting to reawaken. They're starting to realize that being barefoot is normal. That being barefoot, it's now even the market has gotten involved in it. It's over 150 barefoot companies. We're realizing that the sole foundation of our feet is the sole foundation and the sole gravity of our entire body. People are starting to realize that sending their kids to public school and having them sit in a chair for 8 hours for 12 years is not healthy. People are starting to realize that the best thing that they can do is become interconnected, build community, and that really what we have to do is we have to overcome all the trauma that was put onto us, and that a lot of our parents were just traumatized by the system that they lived in. They had to go to work. They didn't want to send us to a public school. They wanted to own land. They wanted us to have freedom. But they didn't respect and honor their ancestors. They didn't stay connected with the land. They didn't remain self-sufficient. They didn't keep community morals and values centered and strong. Look at the Amish. Yeah, they have a lot of rules, but the Amish can literally build a house in 1 week. Imagine having a community so strong and being raised with such good interconnectedness that literally everybody in the community can have their own house built in 6 months. Say there's 6 people in the community. You've all built each other your house, and you don't have to go to work and slave away for the rest of your life paying for a house. You can just take radical self-responsibility with other people who are willing to take radical self-responsibility, and you can co-create healthy, formidable communities that build each other up and help each other expand and grow so that you can have a lot of free time and you can do the things you love. And no, you don't have to be just like the Amish. You don't have to believe in a Bible that was written by a man and all men. It's just a little bit sexist. You don't have to believe in that, but you can take and you can learn from those people, and you can realize that a lot of those concepts are available for anybody outside of any type of religious indoctrination, that they can just be had and utilized by any form and level of consciousness. Challenge. I challenge us to realize that there's a new way. There's hundreds of millions of different ways that we could be doing things. I challenge us to deeply meditate 10 minutes a day to realize and come up and journal different ways that we could be doing things and different ways our societies could be set up and be structured so that we could truly be happy and truly be healthy. And we could fix a lot of these issues that are present in our society. I challenge us to take self-responsibility instead of thinking that one individual person every 4 years can change it for us. Desire. A lot of us have lost desire, like true desire. Remember that first time you ever fell in love? Like how much desire you had? Just like how it flooded your body with chi and fire energy, and you just felt so... That first job you got? What if we could find, through the challenge of creating new situations and atmospheres and communities, what if we could rekindle those desires? What if we could do enough of the self-work to heal ourselves individually and take that self-responsibility so that we could all better ourselves enough where we all really spark that desire within each other to truly feel free. A lot of people still have that. We're just not connected with it because we've lost it ourselves, and we see in the world what we see in ourselves, and our levels of consciousness is what we see in the world and what we focus on. So what if we could get out of our comfort zones and just start connecting with other people around us who feel desire? That could really work. What if we all took a little bit of time every day to just meditate and start working on our own song? Like our own song, we sung it vocally on what we want, need, and desire. How fast if we started singing 10 minutes a day in song and journaling about what our true needs and desires are, and we started taking actions, how many people would we start attracting if we just started singing just out of the blue to 5 people a day? What kind of love could be manifest? What kind of joy could we create? Fun. What if we could just learn to have so much fun again like children do before, it kind of gets sucked out of us by the school systems that sat us in chairs for 8 hours for 12 years of our life and sucked the creativity straight out of our soul? What if we could recalibrate and meditate on those moments, and every time that we see people having fun around us, we honor it as the most beautiful thing, and we learn to cultivate it within ourselves daily, and we learn to bring other people up around us, because understanding, and we learn to know that when other people are having fun around us, that we can also have fun, and that this can bring us health and wealth. Like, what if everything that we did in life, we could find a way to make it fun, so that we didn't have to become reliant on stimulants? Like, so many of us are so reliant on coffee, energy drinks. These things cause adrenal fatigue. We're not truly having natural energy, so we're biohacking our chemistry, and it's causing health issues. And this is not sustainable. We got to find a way to have fun. We have to. Trust. It's hard to trust nowadays. It's hard to trust, especially in a world that just sells you on materialism, and then everybody's so addicted to that materialism, and everybody's working so hard for that materialism, and it's just like we become more dependent on having fun or excitement or feeling good through materialism than we have through just spending time with each other, singing and dancing and playing and using our imaginations as we did as children. And it's like the system, we don't trust it, because it's just like it's so unbalanced. It's so built upon instability. I mean, you had the 2008 crisis. Oh no, I lost my card. Hopefully I'll find it. And it's just like, can we have enough fun amongst each other to always come up with new creative ideas, to like be there for one another and make it through the hard times of the instability of our society and the way it's set up? Can we come together through love and prosperity? Or can we find a way to heal each other instead of wanting to just be so introverted all the time because we're so stressed out? Can we find a way to like pull ourselves away from the screens? Grounding. Can we find a way every single day to ground ourselves in a better future? To ground ourselves in a mindset of serenity, peace, love, joy, natural ecstasy, ultimate vitality. Can we find a way to ground ourselves so that we can get that willpower back and that desire to see and create a better world amongst ourselves and within our own minds and our own hearts? Can we rescue ourselves from the destructive habits that we've created that we think are good for us? We sit so much, we become so stagnant. It's not normal, that's not natural. That was done to us by sitting in chairs when we were children. You give me the first 7 years of the child and I'll show you the man. Can't remember what philosopher said that, but it's so true. It's like, If we were just able to have been children, would we have kept our natural joy? Imagine how many times as children we just picked up on the bad energies of the teachers who were teaching us, who just wanted us to sit in chairs for 8 hours for 12 years and was angry at us for asking questions that they didn't know based out of their own insecurities. We were just picking up on that dirty negative energy from somebody that we were supposed to be looking up to and respecting as a way to teach us. But in so many ways, we just absorbed those negativities. And how many of those teachers were really healthy mind, body, and spirit? Were we just being programmed as NPCs? Family. Is it possible that a lot of the younger generation who has given up on the possibility of ever procreating, we have more and more and more and more people turning to non-procreative attraction? We have more people that are interested in being lesbians and gay than ever before, including myself. But that is not the natural rhythm of life. To reincarnate is to procreate. We are a reincarnation of billions and billions of ancestors before us. To live in a world where you would not want to procreate, it would just make sense that it would be healthier to be bisexual than to be gay. It doesn't make sense. It's destructive. It's literally ending your ability to continue your consciousness. Anybody listening to this is a reincarnated consciousness from billions of years ago, just passed on. Judgment. Are we judging those without love that are becoming gay and lesbian, or that are angry or sad or anything? Are we casting too much judgment instead of understanding them and truly getting down to the understanding of the cause and effect without showing compassion and love for one another? I mean, who really wants to have children these days and send them to schools? Many people can't afford their basic necessities of shelter because the cost of living is so high. So maybe more people becoming gay and lesbian is just a natural progression of the society that is messed up, that has become so far removed from nature in its natural way. Perhaps if we had been raised to grow our own food in our own gardens and build our own homes, we wouldn't feel the fear of having children, and we wouldn't, because we felt abused when many people felt like it was abuse sitting in chairs for 8 hours for 12 years, going to a school that really just seemed like it set a lot of us up for failure, to work until we die. We have to come through compassion. We can't be angry at these people. They're trying the best they can. Silence. In a world so busy with so many distractions, oftentimes I just crave that silence out in nature. Just being able to lay under the waterfall, just getting that natural waterfall massage, just hearing the birds chirp, just feeling connected to the ancestors and to myself, because knowing that I am billions of years old and that I wouldn't be here without them, and that for 99.999999% of my DNA, I was one with nature. I knew how to provide for myself and my family without an economy that could collapse at any moment. Rebirth. Is it possible for our hearts to have a rebirth? Is it possible to go into the unknown once again, even though so many times in our life have been so traumatic? Is it possible to rebirth a new society, one that actually meets all of our true needs and their stability? And is it possible to rebirth ourselves so that we can take full responsibility without having to blame anything outside of us, so that we can create that on a small scale? Because when we blame things outside of ourselves, we just take our power away. Instead of becoming pro-creative creators, we cannot accept victimhood. Mirror. Are we not just a mirror of every experience we've ever had, and every person we've ever met, and every experience we've had? Are we not just a mirror of that? And are we not just the consciousness of everybody around us that we've experienced? And just because we meet someone in a certain time space, depending on what they're currently feeling with their emotions, does that mean that the reflection that we see in them is their true reflection? Shadow. Has our shadow become so dark that that's all we see in others? Are we projecting ourselves onto the world? Is that all we're beginning to see, is what's wrong with the world? Have we become lost in our shadow? Has the modern world just casted its shadow onto us, and that's all that we see is what we have? Is this the only possibility out of the infinite possibilities of what we could create on earth? It seems like life has just been a labyrinth of emotions and experiences, and we meet so many different people that have had different outcomes in their lives, and we wonder, maybe we were just unlucky, or maybe they were luckier than us. Maybe they just had more optimism, or maybe they had more people around them that were optimistic, or maybe they were just able to embrace people around them that were more optimistic. Maybe when they were a child, they had so much negativity around them, but is it still possible for them to get out of that labyrinth of their own mind, which has become their own consciousness? You start at dot 1 and you're at dot 100, and you look back, everyone had a different labyrinth that they went through. Some people had worse labyrinths, but they came out more bright and beautiful. Why is that? Why is that? Leadership. How can we expect other people to lead us when we can't even lead ourselves? It doesn't make any sense. We look for leadership in others, but then we look at our lives and we're not filled with passion and desire. We must become the leader of our own vessel, the captain of our own ships. I mean, yes, we must look towards leadership of people that truly lighten and brighten our hearts. But if we never become our own leaders, then what? We're just going to have the same of what we have. And oftentimes we look to leaders that are so far away from us, so disconnected from us. They're not even directly in our lives. They're not directly impacting our lives in a way that is for the best for us. So why do we look to people that are so far away from us? Why don't we build leadership within our interconnected, closely, tightly knitted, interconnected communities, so that we can all become leaders and build prosperous lives of happiness. Knowledge. Each soul has knowledge. Each soul has perspective. Each soul views reality a little bit different. We become so closed off to other realities and perspectives that we are no longer able to grow for the better. That's not knowledge, that's ignorance. We have to learn to accept and understand everybody's view of knowledge, for better or for worse. We think we know it all. Our egos are only keeping us from true knowledge and wisdom. We're just a fractal of the universe. The only way we're going to grow and expand is if we truly dive deep into the knowledge and the wisdom and the perspectives that are each inside of all of us. Perseverance. We've persevered for so long. We're billions of years old and we're here today. We have persevered. We are the reincarnated flesh of all of our ancestors. If there's anything that we're good at doing, it's persevering. Out of all the odds from billions of years, we have persevered to this time and space. We are the reincarnated flesh of all of our ancestors and all of the energies that have ever existed on Earth. And all the cause and effects of all those energies, we have persevered. Head to bed, y'all. May your days be filled with natural joy, peace, bliss, and eternal ecstasy and unconditional love for all of eternity. And may you find and build a life that allows you to spread that.